At 2 o'clock in the morning, a shrill phone ring wakes Kobayashi, and the screen shows that the call is from the security company.
He says there's been an abnormal alarm at your store.
The door of the store needs a remote control to open. At the store, he finds that the remote control cannot open the shutter door. In order to prevent theft, the jewelry store has only one entrance and exit, malfunctioning roll gate that triggered the alarm.
A power failure or a rat will trigger the alarm.
If you want to check the fault, you have to enter the shop, but the remote control is out of order. Hashi and his colleagues cannot open the door.
There is no sign of damage to the rolling shutter door.
After an inspection, Zhao Lin and his colleagues went home at 8 a.m. Next morning, the jewelry store staff came to work, but the door still couldn't be opened.
Because the door was so big, we called a dozen people and tried to pry it open.
After half an hour, the door is finally forced open, but the scene at the jewelry store surprises everyone.
The K-Gold counter was a mess, with plates and jewelry scattered all over the floor.
After calculation, the missing K-Gold is about 1 kg, worth more than 800,000 airbamb. This caused a panic in the surrounding shops because the anti-theft facilities of the jewelry store are relatively strict. Not only is an infrared alarm system, but also the walls around are reinforced by steel plates. There were obvious signs of damage to the door lock at the counter, and shoe prints were taken from the counter and stool, but there were no suspicious fingerprints. Police then checked surveillance cameras at the jewelry store and saw the 3 suspects push open the glass door and go straight to the K-Gold counter, grabbing a K-Gold necklace and stuffing it into a bag.
They were all wearing hats, masks, and lighting. They were well prepared. From the time they entered the scene, climbed over the counter to steal the jewelry, to escape, a total of about 30 seconds. The movement is very flexible and fast.
Bag at this time. The alarm has sounded. A few minutes later, Zhao Lin and his colleagues arrived at the scene, and the rolling shutter door could not be opened.
After the electrician's inspection, all the power cables have been cut.
The power lines can be destroyed from the outside. The suspects destroyed the power supply and the door was closed. How did they escape? There are 2 doors in the jewelry store. The outside is the electric rolling shutter door. The inside glass door is not locked, and the aisle between the 2 doors has a side door that is not obvious, and inside is the display window. The
Usually, the shop assistant is not allowed to go in the window.
police found shoe prints on the walls on either side of the side door that basically matched those on the counter. Entering the window and going ahead is a power distribution room.
Inside is the electrical equipment. It is surrounded by iron bars. 3 of the bars are broken and there is an entrance. After entering through the entrance of the fence, because the side door was locked, one of them flipped over from above to enter the door, leaving a footprint on the wall.
Out through the iron fence is the side wall of the jewelry store, and the sight before me is amazing.
There is a gap in the southeast corner of the jewelry store that leads directly to the jewelry window.
Where the entrance is 60 centimeters wide and can allow a person to bend over. Oddly enough, this is the only place where the walls, which are supposed to be steel plate reinforced, are hollow. Police found a light near the hole, very similar to the one the suspect was wearing.
The hole used to look like ordinary tires from the outside. People don't know it's hollow.
Just 30 seconds to steal more than 300 K-Gold necklaces. Clearly, know the hollow location and quickly destroy the power supply.
We think it was an acquaintance.
We split up into several teams, both inside and outside the store.
We'll have people in the neighbor identify the suspects on surveillance, and we'll canvass jewelry store employees.
The use area of this jewelry store is about 2,300 square meters, divided into 2 floors, a variety of jewelry, the total value of tens of millions of yuan. But the suspect only stole a K-Gold necklace, ignoring the diamonds and jade next to.
Actually, the K-Gold necklace they stole was not very valuable. If it was an employee, why didn't they steal more valuable jewelry?
After investigation, more than 30 employees lived in the staff dormitory and were able to provide each other with alibis on the day of the crime, so they were all ruled out as suspects.
The police called surveillance cameras around the area, but no 3 suspects were found.
We assume they have a car.
A suspicious vehicle was spotted on surveillance at 3 a.m. From the flashing lights, we can see 2 or 3 people getting out of the car. One person didn't get out at other nearby intersections. Surveillance cameras captured the license plates of the 2 cars.
The license plate number belongs to Liaoning province. Found that the registered model and the car number do not match. After the car left the scene of the crime, it was headed in the direction of Shandong and changed to a Shandong license plate on the way.
The car, which frequently changed its license plate, disappeared in the Shandong area, and the clue was interrupted according to the suspect's knowledge of the crime scene. The task force made a bold speculation.
Only the decorator electrician and other workers of the store's facilities are more understanding. The store decoration is completed by 2 decoration teams. One is Shandong, one is Luring.
Luring team is responsible for the decoration of the store. Shandong team is responsible for the decoration of the store. The police contacted 2 decoration teams respectively.
The contractor in Luring was quick to provide a list of all the workers, while the contractor in Shandong was slow to do so.
What is the decoration team hiding? The contractor recalls that a worker named Lila is similar to one of the people in the surveillance.
Tall, thin, with a little hunchback. Then our focus shifted to Shandong.
After a day of surveillance, the police failed to find Lil in his hometown.
The neighbors say that Leo is not living home these days. He is probably staying in a hotel in Newton district of his city. The specific address is not clear.
The terrain is complicated. There are many stores and hotels. It is difficult to check.
After more than 4 hours of investigation, the police finally found the hotel, but don't know whether Lele is inside. Can't act rashes. Finally, the task force decided by Captain Liu and another policewoman disguised as customers to stay in the hotel.
We used various reasons to look at the terrain. Found that only the boss's room can see the situation in the hospital. I said I wanted to use the computer to observe the situation in the boss's room, which is 78 meters away from the other side.
4:20 p.m. 2 young people on the 2nd floor came out of their rooms and stood chatting in the corridor.
I took a video and asked my colleague to compare the people in the surveillance. A man said the internet says that gold is more than 600 yuan per gram. Why can't we sell it at this price? That's when I knew they were the suspects.
5:10 p.m. The 2 suspects returned to the room.
I quickly told my colleague to arrest them.
5:15 p.m. Leo and Zhao Liu were caught at the same time and both confessed to stealing the jewelry. So where are the other 2 suspects? The suspect 3 is named BB. The police asked Lila to call BB to meet.
会长吗？会长吗？
没会长。
来找我来唱吗？来找我唱吗？你来宾馆找我呗。你来宾馆找我不？我用了啊。说了一宿。
BB said he was going to a night market for dinner.
So the policeman wears Lila to the night market to identify BB.
The night market has started. There are more than 100 people eating there.
How can the police quickly find BB among the 100 people?
We pretend to be customers, order lamb kebabs, and sit down.
While pretending to make a phone call, Captain Liu takes a video of each table and asks Liu to identify which one is BB.
He says no, there is no BB here.
More than 10 minutes later, Lila still did not identify BB. Longer we wait, the harder it will be to catch him. Captain Liu spotted a man in the crowd who looked just like BB.
Asked the boss to move the stool next to the man who looked like BB because of the heavy smell. I could touch him as soon as I reached my hand.
Another 40 minutes passed, and the police were watching nervously.
Then the boss walks over and asks, BB, do you still want to order?
My mood is very excited. Quickly inform my colleague the man next to me is BB. Do it.
At 11 p.m., the task force found the fourth suspect hiding in the hotel in a remote alley. Later, the team seized most of the gold jewelry at the suspect's homes. Leal said he and BB worked as decorators at the jewelry store.
It was supposed to take 3 months, but it actually took 6 months. I didn't get paid. I wanted to break the glass. We knew jewelry stores and electrical circuits, so we wanted to steal jewelry.
For courage, Leal calls her friend Zhou Gaoying, and BB calls Zhao Liu for help. After drinking, the four feel unhappy that they did not get the salary and begin to discuss the crime plan.
We decided to commit the crime on the spur of the moment. We bought some tools.
Zhao Zhang borrowed a car and the four of us drove to Zhangzhou. On the way, he bought a screwdriver and a headlamp. At 1 a.m. on the day of the murder, the road was empty. The suspect thought it was a good time to commit the crime, parked his car near the jewelry store, walked to the side wall, kicked the marble wall through the opening. BB sat in the car and watched while the other 3 people stole from the jewelry store and cut off the power supply to the door.
The first counter is gold inlaid with jade. We don't understand this, so we go straight to the second counter. The alarm goes off as soon as we get there.
After the alarm sounded, 3 people panicked and grabbed a few plates of jewelry and fled in a hurry after the 4 returned.
There are 3 of us. Each of us gives a little jewelry to BB in the car.
After the 4 returned to their hometown, they were afraid to live at home, so they stayed in a hotel.
When I got home, I was too scared to sell the stolen jewelry. If I do get caught, I give them all back to the store.
As for the unpaid wages, the jewelry store provided proof of payment with the engineering contractor. They are not in arrears. Liu is not owed wages, and friends Zhao Zhang and Zhao Liu participate in the theft in order to help their friend get justice. Even if they are really in arrears, they should take legal measures to protect their rights.